So I'm here with Eric Sweeten. He's the Regional Sales Director for DePuy Synthes in St. Louis. Something that we're going to be talking about is just the changing of the workplace and how COVID has kind of affected all of us, but more specifically the medical sales field. So Eric, do you want to go ahead and answer kind of what you do on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, so I'm the sales director for a group of sales reps in the St. Louis area in Southern Illinois. That job encompasses, setting up strategic sales patterns, figuring out our case coverage and where guys are going to be, and also helping in and doing some of the selling on my own. So really a glorified sales rep, but manage 12 other reps in the territory.
So basically you're the Michael Scott of the real world.
Yeah, some say that.
Yeah, some. So this has obviously been like a huge shift, but how has your day-to-day changed during the heat of COVID?
Yeah, I would say in the heat of COVID, the March, April, May timeframe when we had the initial lockdown, it changed drastically. 90% of our day-to-day, myself or other reps, is trying to be in the hospital, in surgery, in front of customers as much as possible. So when elective cases were shut down, that took us out of that environment, which we were, number one, most comfortable in, and also number two, the spot that put us in the best situation to be with our customers. So it changed drastically. It was honestly a period, unless there was an emergent trauma case, our guys weren't going into the hospitals. We were really trying to figure out what we could do to continue to train ourselves or add value into our territory. But I would say it was hit significantly harder and changed what we were doing in that time frame more than many other businesses that just could go digital.
Yeah. So, this question kind of goes into COVID, and obviously there's a lot of changes, like you mentioned, with going into hospitals and granted, I can kind of speak on this now, but medical sales is definitely not the typical 9-to-5 job where you go into the office and you're on the computer and you're calling clients. A lot of people think that, oh, it's a sales job, like that. The common sales gig is, oh, I'm going to call somebody, I'll get that sale that day, or I'll get that sale within the week, but other than that, what has been the biggest change in the workplace that you've experienced in the last year? Because I know you've been in this industry for
about 10 years.
10 years, yeah.
I would say the change, like you talk about businesses that had to adapt during COVID, they could make phone calls and make sales from their desk and even do Zoom calls and interact that way. So much of our business and selling is a hands-on approach for us providing value while they're using an instrument or implant.
Yeah.
Move us from that, you have to get really creative on how you can sell to guys. So we definitely went down a digital platform and had surgeons engage with other surgeons to get that perspective and advice, or finally get some questions answered that they wanted to for upcoming cases once elective cases could get back on the books. But I would say more holistically now, in terms of our sales patterns, one thing that has definitely changed or becoming an issue is guys had all this downtime, and now some of them are having more downtime, and I'm speaking of surgeons, but they're also dealing with all these other pressures now. They're trying to maintain their practice financially. They have staff that they've maybe laid off, or they're trying to bring in more staff to see more patients in the clinic because they can't operate, and there's tons of different variables going on. It doesn't set up a great environment for these guys to want us to go up to sell to them.
Yeah.
Our perfect scenario is, or what reps would say is, you're always waiting for the perfect time to sell to some guy.
Mm-hmm.
When they're in a great mood, when you build rapport with them, they've used your product, they liked it, and now you want to give them something else. So with all these COVID changes and all these pressures, it's definitely made it more difficult to find that right time to approach these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Is there anything else you want to add about the the workplace and how it's kind of changed within the last year. So something that we kind of talk about in IO psychology is just how we can, make a difference in that. And something that is kind of interesting is the change in the workplace has been in the top 10 for PSYOP trends for the past 10 years. So is there anything else that you could add on the workplace, the changes in the workplace?
Yeah, I would say the best change that could happen is everyone gets the vaccine, and then we can just go back to what we were doing. But in terms of like our business and how we do things, our workplace is so mobile. We have an office, but we don't really have people in it.
Yeah.
So realistically, it's going to go probably back to a philosophy that we try to maintain within our distributorship with our customers, and that's truly developing a partnership. Like, we understand that they're battling financial issues, they're battling surgery time, they're battling shortage of nurses. The last thing we want to do is go in there and try to sell them something that they don't need, that's not going to provide value, that's not going to provide solutions to their problems, which in the nature of sales, that happens everywhere. People do that all the time. So that is going to become whoever can establish that partnership and really become credible to the hospitals is really going to win in the end.
Yeah, absolutely. Eric, thanks for your time. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks a lot, man.